Hi guys, this is Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions, and I'm back this week with a video about my family's little trip to Holly, Pennsylvania, which is up near the Poconos, to go visit the Holly Antique Exchange, which has the world's largest uranium glass collection in its basement. I'm excited to show you guys some footage from our trip, and I just wanted to say thank you to all my new subscribers and all my new viewers. I really appreciate when you like or comment or tell me something that you appreciate or would want to know more about, so feel free to do that, and I look forward to all the new subscribers that I'll hopefully get. It's nice to meet everyone, and I'm excited for you to see all the cool footage that I took from our trip this weekend. The collection is owned by Eric and Ida Martin, who own the whole antique store, and the basement is dedicated to their collection. Both of them were actually there, and they gave me a little tour around their collection and pointed out some of their favorite pieces, which I'll be talking a little bit about when I voice over the rest of the footage for the video. But yeah, I'm excited for everyone to get a little lesson on uranium glass. A little bit of a background is uranium glass and Vaseline glass, which are two different things, very similar, but both of them have uranium oxide content, meaning that yes, they are radioactive, and it does give them that signature lime green color. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Here's to the rest of the video. So as you can see here, when we first walked in the door of this antique store, there was a lot of uranium glass. This is the booth actually of items for sale by Eric and Ida Martin from their personal collection. As you can see here, using black lights is the best way to go about selling uranium glass. It just really gives it that wow factor. You can see examples with a lot of uranium, which glow very green. And we went shopping in the rest of the store a little bit before we went downstairs to the museum because my dad and I actually got a little lost and weren't able to find it at first. As you can see here, these are just pieces of glass that were for sale, not necessarily uranium, but cool pieces of stemware. What I'm picking up right now, those are chair bottoms or furniture coasters. They used to make them out of uranium glass. You just put them on the bottom of a chair and it'll help it slide easier over carpet and not scratch your floor. What I'm about to pick up here are knife rests, and this is what I was saying about in my last video. These are huge, these are chunky, these would take up way too much space on my table. This store also had a lot of cobalt glass. Look at these beautiful little shot glasses. I actually haven't seen these before. This is the modern tone pattern from the 1930s. I believe it's made by the Hawking Glass Company, but just very beautiful cobalt. It's called cobalt because it uses the element cobalt in order to give it that color. And these pieces here, it is an etched dolphin, and the other one is cobalt cut to clear. So they take clear pieces of glass and flash them in cobalt glass, and an expert artist will cut away the cobalt to reveal the clear underneath in order to make beautiful designs. They had a lot of other depression glass for sale. This is that beautiful pale pink that was also very characteristic of depression glass, a lot of different patterns there. That yellow is called amber. More uranium glass, looks like a teacup set, a couple of platters, and the yellow stuff there is Vaseline glass. Looks like more amber glass, a lot of butter dishes. Butter dishes with the lid tend to go for a lot of money, between maybe $50 to $150. And this example here that I'm pointing to, you can see the difference between high uranium content on the right and low on the left. The more uranium there is, the more it glows. And once we finally made our way down to the museum, we went down the steps, and boy were we shocked, blown away. It was the most impressive collection I have ever seen in my life. Eric and Ida Martin take care of the glass section, and their son, he has an interest in music boxes, and especially animatronic music boxes that play their own music. I have a couple recordings of that at the end of the video where you can see a piano basically playing itself. You could say that it's a little creepy, but honestly it is an engineering marvel. And this glass cabinet here, you can see just the pure quantity of uranium glass. This stuff can actually be detected on a Geiger counter. I don't have one, but I could imagine that it would be going off in this room. That shelf there has a lot of butter dishes, and he has them pretty much organized by purpose. I saw a shelf full of stationery items, so inkwells. This here are statues or figurines, very beautiful. I actually haven't seen anything like that before. And he has a perfect 10 set service, like an entire table set of the same pattern. He said that this is probably the only one left in the world with a full service for 10 in this pattern in uranium glass. I could not imagine being a dinner guest and sitting down to a table set like that. We actually got them to turn off the lights for us so that we could see all the uranium glass in its full glory. It was truly, truly something to look at. I was blown away. You can see that shelf there has a lot of uranium in it because it is absolutely glowing so bright under the black lights. This was just honestly a breathtaking experience. I was so honored and very fortunate to be able to go there and witness that and be given a tour by Eric Martin himself. This shelf here, you can see inkwells right there. Those are knife rests. I showed a clear example earlier in the video. There's decanters and dresser bottles and perfume bottles, and at the bottom there, hobnail pattern with the opalescent edges. This here was one of his favorite pieces. That is a giant punch bowl of uranium glass with the cobalt cut to clear. That means that an artist used a drill by hand in order to carve out the design on those pieces. It is in the pattern of a beehive. And this here is again another example of cobalt cut to, well, instead of cut to clear, be cut to uranium. And those tree designs you saw there on those cups were actually hand carved. So that is just an example of the pure craftsmanship that goes into drinkware. Is they would take a clear piece of glass, roll it in crushed cobalt glass, reheat it, and then carve out the pattern. That's an example of a pickler there. You'd put pickles in and use the tongs to get it out when you have your tea service. There's fruit baskets, looks like pitcher sets. Truly shocking to see this much in one room. Over here, he has all the pieces of the same pattern. Candy dishes, butter dishes, salt wells, bowls for serving. Down here is a hobnail glass, which has little dewdrops on it. Here is another example of what the whole room looked like with the lights off. I tried to take a slow pan so that you could just take in the grandeur of his collection. It is the largest in the world. If you Google largest uranium glass collection in the world, the Holly Antique Exchange does come up, and an article about Eric Martin also shows up. As you can see here, I was walking around. It can get a little eerie with the self-playing piano in the dark with the glow-in-the-dark glass, but nonetheless, it was a very, very enjoyable experience. This stuff here, instead of it being cobalt cut to clear, I know you can't tell because the lights are off, but that's actually ruby glass. So that's red glass that was cut back into the uranium color. So it's red and green. Those statues there are similar to the other ones that I showed earlier in the video, just used for decoration. I do have an example in my collection of a piece that is Vaseline glass that has the opalescent edges. This was another display. It kind of looks like a strawberry, the way that the ruby glass bleeds into the green glass. It just takes expert craftsmanship in order to produce pieces like that. This here is an example of a wash basin. He told us that there is only one other in the world, and it exists at the Cambridge Glass Museum. And these canes that you just saw on the wall, those are made by Jolly Gibson in the 1800s. I've never seen a glass cane before, but Mr. Martin had 3 of them. He said one was actually still at his house. And this is the music box. You can hear it playing in the background, and there's also a piano that plays itself. quick, I wanted to show off my personal collection of uranium glass. I have 4 pieces, and you can clearly tell the difference between uranium glass and Vaseline glass as I have both. The first example is this sherbet cup. This is actually one of the first pieces of glass that I bought in my collection. I originally started with sherbet dishes and I was collecting just these. They're actually used as ice cream cups. Today people typically use these as champagne coupes, but for me, I eat ice cream out of it. It makes you feel a little more special. You can tell here with the glowing that it does have a uranium content. This is the block optic pattern made by the Hawking Glass Company from the years 1929 to 1933. I actually have this textbook of depression glass patterns that I use to identify some of my pieces. And so that's that first piece. The second piece I have was actually bought to me or given to me by a friend. She went out thrifting with her grandmother and she saw this and she thought of me and she bought it for me. This is a really beautiful little sandwich platter. This is the Princess pattern, again by the Hawking Glass Company. So these two guys are made by the same glass company. This one was made from 1931 to 1934. You can see it glows under the black light. It doesn't glow as much as the other piece. It's either because it's more of just like a thinner piece of glass, or it has a lesser uranium content. And my next piece is a juicer. So we have actually found in my family that juicers work amazing for making fresh orange juice or squeezing lemon juices or limes or whatnot. They work amazing. And so we've been using this one for a while, but we found out that using citrus on, hi kitty, using citrus on uranium glass can actually cause the uranium to leach. So we have since retired this guy here and we now use a clear glass one. But much loved. You can tell it has the uranium because it glows. And all 3 of those examples that I showed were uranium glass, but this next one is Vaseline glass. And you can tell because of the yellow color. So early examples of Vaseline glass were often called canary glass because they had a yellow color. This one fades from like clear to a more milky, opaque glass color. And this one glows the brightest under the black light, meaning that it does have the highest uranium content out of all 3 of them, but this is or all 4 of them. But this is a decorative piece that you just put trinkets or your keys in it, or candy. I think this is traditionally a candy dish. But all 4 of these examples show off my collection and do a good job showing the difference between uranium glass and Vaseline glass. So for all of you guys out there, when you go to the store, you can tell the difference between these now. I just wanted to say thank you for tuning into my channel and for watching my video this week. I really appreciate all my new viewers, all my new subscribers, and if you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so now. I really appreciate seeing that you guys are interested in at least listening to what I'm interested in. And I hope all of you guys have a great week. This was Kim from Kim's Vintage Obsessions, and I look forward to bringing you guys a new video next week. Thank you!